Hey there, that's Rob, the Ignorant Entrepreneur, and Cramer's week ahead, the most important week of earnings season. Whoa! I know I made some big plays going into this week, and I am trying to make a killing this week. I'm betting it all. Jim Cramer advised investors to be prepared for a jam-packed week of earnings. Reports from the biggest names on Wall Street. This is the toughest week of the quarter when it comes to making informed financial decisions, the Mad Money host said. Now let's take a look into why Jim Cramer said Friday that Wall Street will be overwhelmed this week with a full slate of earnings reports from some of the biggest, most recognizable names out there. Keep in mind that after the major averages all finished the session with all-time highs, shaking off concerns about the economic growth, this week leaves practically no room for error. There aren't enough hours in the day to read all the conference calls, so you got to do your best to focus on a few. If you even listen to these calls at all, or you just make plays based on what you think is going to happen ahead of time. Now up here on the screen, you can see all the big players that are announcing earnings this week. I mean, it's just wild. You got Apple, you got Google, Microsoft, McDonald's, Facebook, Ford, Amazon, MasterCard, yeet! And let's just take a look at what Cramer was thinking prior to these earnings. So what Cramer was talking about, he's talking about how, well, first thing you need to know is if we start with Tesla, that it's going to be after the market close on Monday, there's going to be a conference call. Now you can see on the screen, we got projected EPS and projected revenue. Cramer's thoughts on it was that Tesla is one of the few big companies with a stock that's well off its highs, so it should have an easier time rallying on good news. Then we move over to Tuesday. We got Apple, which is also reporting after market close. They're going into a big launch and all new models will support 5G. There should be an incredible number of upgrades. Cramer, and I quote, he said, hopefully Apple will start breaking out of the lifetime value of their customers this quarter thanks to an increasingly sticky new revenue stream. Then we move over to Google, or Alphabet, and they are also reporting after market close. Cramer said to watch their cash hoard as it continues to build. We have Microsoft. He talks about how normally analysts underestimate Microsoft, which allows the company to beat expectations. But this time, the stock may actually lead lower as, sort of those expectations finally catch up with them. We have Advanced Micro Devices. He thinks it's under brilliant leadership of Lisa Su and says that it's surpassed Intel in terms of giving its customers what they want. He's hoping that they can announce a closing date for the Xilinx acquisition because the arbitrage pressure is dragging down the stock more than earnings can lift it. Moving on into Wednesday, we have Boeing, Bristol Myers, McDonald's, Facebook, Ford, and MasterCard earnings. And real quick, I could just tell you that Cramer's already saying he can see Boeing giving you a terrible number and even telling us that they'll have to raise more money. But, he notes that those punches may be worth enduring because the air travel is already coming back. And once we triumph over these COVID variants, he expects the airlines to place very big orders. Bristol Myers Squibbs, which I have to be honest with you, I'm not too familiar with, but Cramer says that he expects them to be weak again. And McDonald's, we know what Chipotle did last week, and McDonald's definitely saw that rise as well. So that's something to keep in mind. They may not shoot up as high because it's already been taken into account. But, Cramer says he thinks that people are coming back to stores, so McDonald's will guide up numbers and people will buy the stock. Then Facebook, which Cramer just basically says it'll be difficult for them to have a bad quarter because online advertising is too strong. We got Ford. He thinks the numbers have to go up here because cars and trucks are simply better than they used to be, and the markets they operate in are more profitable. But hold your horses a little bit. He doesn't expect this quarter to be good. He's saying that 2022 could be good. Next, we got MasterCard. We know what AXP just did. It's not too far off to think that MasterCard is going to tell us a good story as well, but keep in mind that it has been shooting up a lot in anticipation for this earnings, so you have to factor that in as well. And Thursday, we got Amazon and Twilio earnings. I'm not too familiar with Twilio, but of course, Amazon, I don't really think there's much to be said here. We know what it is. And lastly, Friday, we got ExxonMobil, Chevron, Caterpillar. I'm not too familiar with trading Chevron or Caterpillar. But anyway, I think it's good for you to know what earnings are out there in case you want to throw up some bets. Try some experiments. This is more, when Cramer's talking about it, it's more long-term investing. But there's plays here for options as well. So it's just something to consider, something to look at, maybe test and play around with. I am personally interested in what Tesla's going to do because I think that could affect a lot of the other electric vehicle companies in the space. And that's something I've typically found with earnings, like when a similar company does something, you can kind of, at least at this time, you can expect that the others will follow suit. So that has been my informative take from Jim Cramer's week ahead. I'm definitely looking forward to this week. I hope you are too. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This has been The Ignorant Entrepreneur. I'm outie.